Okay, if you've got a retirement fund here in South Africa, you need to listen up because the rules are getting a major shakeup. A brand new two-pot system is rolling out, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what it is, what it means for your hard-earned savings, and yes, how you can actually get your hands on some of that money. Let's get into it. So first things first, you're probably wondering, why? Why change the entire system? It's a really important question because this whole new setup is designed to fix a massive problem that's been hitting millions of South African savers for years. You see, before we can really appreciate the solution, we have to get our heads around the problem. For years, the old system was kind of like a retirement bucket with a giant hole on the bottom. And this new law, well, it's the government's shot at finally patching that leak. And this quote, wow, it hits the nail right on the head. This was the court issue. Under the old rules, if you were in a tight spot, say a real financial emergency, your only real option was to resign from your job, just to access your own money. I mean, think about that. It forced people to cash out their entire life savings, leaving them with absolutely nothing for retirement. It was a disaster. And that brings us to the big fix, the two-pot system. It's designed to stop that all-or-nothing scenario, giving you some much-needed flexibility without you having to blow up your entire future. So what is it really? Well, at its heart, this whole system is a balancing act. It's trying to do two things at once. First, to lock away and protect the bulk of your savings for when you actually retire. And second, to give you a little escape hatch, access to a small portion for genuine emergencies along the way. Okay, the timing here is absolutely crucial. So get this. Everything you've already saved up until the 31st of August 2024 stays put under the old rules. But the big day is September 1st. From that day on, the new system officially kicks in, and every single rand you contribute from then on gets split in a totally new way. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how your money is actually handled. Now, I know it's called the two-pot system, which is a bit confusing because, as you're about to see, for most of us who already have a fund, it's really more like a three-part structure to start with. And here they are. Your fund is now split into three buckets. You've got your vested pot, which is basically all your savings up to this point, and then you have the two new pots, the savings pot and the retirement pot, and that's where all your future money will go. On that first day, there's a big one-time reshuffle. Everything you've saved so far gets bundled into your vested pot. Then, to get your emergency fund started, a little bit of that money, 10% up to a max of 30,000 rand, is moved over to seed your new savings pot. From that very moment on, every new contribution you make gets split. And going forward, the split is actually really simple to remember. For every contribution you make from September 1st, 1/3 of it will land in your accessible savings pot, and the other 2/3 will be safely locked away in your retirement pot. Let's make this super practical. So meet Shirley. She contributes 6,000 rand a month. The math is easy. 1/3 of that, our 2,000, goes straight into her emergency savings pot. The rest, the other 2/3, that's our 4,000, gets automatically preserved for her future in the retirement pot. Simple as that. All right, now for the part I know everyone's been waiting for, this new rainy day fund. How does it actually work? What are the rules for dipping into that money when you really need it? Okay, the rules are pretty straightforward. You get to make one withdrawal per tax year. The smallest amount you can take out is 2,000 rand. And, this is the big one, you can access this money for emergencies without having to quit your job. That right there is the real game changer. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? The savings pot is for now. It's for short-term needs. You can tap into it once a year, and it's taxed as regular income. The retirement pot, on the other hand, is for later. It's locked up tight until you retire, and its whole purpose is to buy what's called an annuity, which is basically a financial product that pays you a steady income for the rest of your life. Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, but, accessing money isn't a free lunch. There are always strings attached. So let's talk about the really critical stuff, the risks, and, you guessed it, the tax man. To really understand the tax implications, you have to get this one term, your marginal tax rate. Now, it sounds complicated, but it's not. Just think of it like this. It's the tax rate you pay on your next rand of income. The more you earn, the higher that rate gets. And here is why that matters so much. When you take money out of your savings pot, SARS sees it as an extra paycheck. It gets added right on top of your yearly salary. So let's say you earn 300,000 rand a year and you withdraw 30,000. Well, for tax purposes, you're now treated as if you earned 330,000 rand. and that can easily push you into a higher tax bracket, meaning a much bigger chunk of that withdrawal goes to tax than you might have thought. So it really is a trade-off, isn't it? On the one hand, the rewards are obvious. You get real financial flexibility for real emergencies. But the risks are just as serious. Every withdrawal gets taxed, and it permanently shrinks your final retirement nest egg. And then there's this idea of decision fatigue, that constant nagging question of, should I take it out now? Is this really an emergency? And really, that's what it all boils down to. This new system puts a huge question right on your shoulders. It gives you a powerful tool for short-term help, but using it always comes with a long-term price. The new responsibility for every single saver in South Africa is to figure out for themselves how to strike that very personal balance.